Dear students, good day. Let us start our session with Economics, Unit 2, Employment in India and Tamil Nadu. In this session, we are going to learn about employment structure in India, organized and unorganized sector, difference between public sector and private sector, changing employment pattern. Employment. The basic needs of every human being are food, clothes, and shelter. In the present world, one more important need has to be added in this list, that is, employment. To survive in the world, we all need employment to earn money. Those who are engaged in economic activities in whatever capacity, high or low, are called employees. People who employ these workers and pay rewards for their work are called employers. Labor force. Labor force of the economy is the number of people in the country who work and also capable of working. We take the age group of 15 to 16 years for the computation of workforce. Persons who are less than 15 years are considered as children, and persons who have crossed 60 years of age are excluded as they are not physically fit to undertake productive occupation. If larger percentage of population is accounted by children and old age persons, then the progress of the country would be very slow as the working force is very small. Besides, the small working force will have to maintain larger non-working force for feeding out of the small national product. Employment structure in India. The nature of employment in India is multidimensional. Some get employment throughout the year, some others get employed for only a few months in a year. The economy is classified into three sectors: primary or agriculture sector, secondary or industrial sector, and tertiary or service sector. Primary sector. The primary sector of the economy includes any industry involved in the extraction and production of raw materials such as farming, forestry, fishing, and mining. Secondary sector. The secondary sector of the economy including industries that produce a finished, usable product or are involved in construction. Tertiary sector. The service sector is a third of the three economic sectors of the three sector theory. The service sector consists of the productions of services instead of end products. The structure of employment denotes the number of workers engaged in different sectors of the economy. The occupational pattern varies from one country to another. One can find in developing countries like India that a large workforce will be engaged in primary sector while a small proportion in secondary and tertiary sectors. Whereas in well-developed countries, the proportion of workforce engaged in agriculture will be very small and a majority of labor force will be in the industrial and tertiary sectors. Employment has always as an important element of development policy in India. Employment growth has increased at an average rate of 2% during 1972 to 1973. Types of employment. There are two types: organized and unorganized sectors. Organized sector. The organized sector is incorporated with the appropriate authority or government and follows appropriate rules and regulations. In India, employees of central and state governments, banks, railways, insurance, industry, and so on can be called as organized sector. This sector works according to certain rules and regulations given in the law. Organized sector has some formal processes and procedures. The employees in this sector are provided with job security and receive higher wages than those of the unorganized sectors. Organized sector gives good salary, fixed working hours, paid holidays, and insurance also. Unorganized sector. The unorganized sector of the economy characterized by the household manufacturing activity and small scale industry. Jobs here are low paid and often not regular. Mostly, they do not have paid leave, holiday, and so on. Employment is not secure. When there is no work, people are asked to leave the job. This sector includes a large number of people who are employed on their own, doing small business such as selling on the street, doing repair work, and so on. In the unorganized sector, the employment terms are not fixed and regular. They do not enjoy any special benefits or job security. These enterprises are not registered with the government. Public sector versus private sector. Economic activities are classified into public and private sector based on who owns assets and is responsible for the delivery of services. Difference between the public sector and private sector. Public sector. Public sector is a service motive. Private sector. Private sector is a profit motive. Public sector. Government owns the assets. Private sector. Private individuals own the assets. Public sector. Wages are paid by the government. Public sector. Wages are paid by the owner of private enterprises. Public sector. Example, BSNL. Private sector. Example, Tata Steel. Employment pattern. In recent years, there has been a change in the employment pattern, and this has helped the employers to develop more flexible working pattern for their employees. The trends are increasing self-employment, companies or enterprises using fewer full-time employees, and trending to offer more short-term contracts. There has been a growth in part-time employment. This may be due to lifestyle of the people. Employment trends in Tamil Nadu. Agriculture, despite a sharp decline in gross domestic product, continues to be the largest employer in Tamil Nadu. This is because the non-agricultural sectors are yet to generate enough employment to affect a shift of labor force. Most of the employment growth in Tamil Nadu has been contributed by the unorganized and informal sectors. Employment in Iruvelpattu, a case study. Iruvelpattu is one such village in Viluppuram district in Tamil Nadu. This village has been studied for more than 100 years by many scholars. This village is also called Slater Village, as Gilbert Slater was the first scholar working in the University of Madras to go with his students to study this village in 1916. Over the years, many scholars surveyed the occupation of villages and collected many more details of each person in the village. It was clearly observed that the government brought social security awareness among the people of the village through primary health care, provision of schools, and maintenance of public distribution system. Though this village underwent many changes, it is still depend on agriculture as a main occupation. During 1981, out of 100 families, 24% were engaged in non-agricultural labors. In 2008, the number of families engaged in such employment increased to 41%. During 1981 to 2008, the proportion of families engaged in agriculture has declined from 34% to 26%, both as agricultural laborers and cultivators. In this session, we learnt about employment structure in India, organized and unorganized sector, difference between public sector and private sector, changing employment pattern. Thank you.